Hey, today I am going to talk about some of my favorite computer productivity tips. I'm on a computer around 8 or more hours a day, and there are just some tools that I'm quite grateful for. So here we go. Number one is managing tabs. There have been many occasions where I end up opening one, two, or even three of the same web page. And even when that's not the case, having to search for a single tab among 20 or more tabs, often in separate browser windows, can accumulate into substantial wasted time. That is where a browser extension for managing tabs can help. Personally, I use an extension in Chrome called Quick Tabs, but there are many alternatives for Chrome and other browsers as well. I bind a shortcut to open the extension, and I can search through open browser tabs. By adding two spaces after a query, I can search through my bookmarks, and with three spaces, I can search through my browsing history. So this extension saves me a lot of time, and it can really help you when you are focusing on a task and want to quickly find the tab you are looking for. This is probably my single most favorite Chrome extension. Number two is keyboard shortcuts for opening your applications. Remembering shortcuts for launching all your applications seems very difficult, but there may be a few apps and software that you access very frequently and would like to bind keyboard shortcuts to. So for Windows users, these apps can include Microsoft Store apps, which can be found in your application folder by pressing the Windows plus R key, opening up the Run dialog, and typing shell:\apps folder in the Run box. Personally, I bind shortcuts for Windows Terminal and the calculator. Opening your go-to applications should eventually become muscle memory. You can open your apps without having to search in the taskbar, or even worse, minimize to your desktop. So number three is creating browser sessions. So yes, this is another browser extension, but I assume many people using their computers are often surfing the web and may benefit from another extension, such as a session manager. So for opening one or two bookmarks, it's usually relatively fast to find the correct folder and open each bookmark site. But this can get pretty inconvenient when you deal with three or more bookmarks, which are potentially in different folders. That's where browser session management can help. I use an extension called Toby, and it allows me to create collections of sites that can be opened all at once. For example, I am able to open a handful of development-related sites all at once. Another great use case, which is probably the use case that's most common, is remembering sessions for a task you are currently working on. Toby keeps track of your open tabs. By opening the extension and pressing Save Session, it saves all tabs from my current browser session, which can be edited, and also saves the timestamp as the title, which can be renamed. So getting back into a task you put on hold should be a lot more streamlined when using a browser session manager. Number four is adding a new desktop. This can be done on macOS with Mission Control and Workspace Switcher on Ubuntu, but I will be showing this from a Windows perspective, since that is what I assume most users will be using. This is similar to browser session management, but it takes it to the application level. I can have a text editor open, browser windows open, file explorer open, and switch to a clean desktop. And say now I want to do some online shopping. I can open another browser window and work off a clean desktop. It's honestly really useful and often overlooked, but to save a lot of time if each desktop is isolated to only its relevant applications, meaning you can avoid clutter and find things more easily. Number five is peripheral upgrades. Keyboard or mouse macros/shortcuts can allow you to quickly launch applications, run custom scripts, or record common keystrokes. I used the Logitech G613 for some time, and it served this purpose quite well, but there are many other keyboards out there that also have macro options. Another peripheral upgrade would be an extra monitor or higher resolution monitor. So having more screen space may be the simplest but the largest boost to productivity on this list. Being able to work on a task without having to minimize or squish it can help with staying focused and really minimize the effects of context switching. So I am a programmer and I often have a text editor, running application, and browser open at the same time for searching up documentation. And it saves me a lot of time from switching between tabs and potentially forgetting something after I just read it. So I mainly have peripheral upgrades at the end of this list since it's a productivity upgrade that is less accessible, meaning it costs money, but it may be worth it depending on the time you spend on your computer and whether the boost in productivity can pay for itself. So I talked about 2 browser extensions, 2 built-in Windows 10 features, and 2 potential hardware upgrades. So there are many other things that I didn't talk about, such as Windows Clipboard. These are the main productivity tools that I really rely on. There may have been things on this list that you have known about but haven't used, or 1 or 2 things that are completely new to you. If that's the case, I hope these productivity tips can help you out in some way. Thank you, and please let me know in the comments about any other tools that you frequently use.